Yeah.
Like then.
Yeah, it's recording. Yeah, started. I started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Okay. Yeah. So the program for today's session is I will be giving a brief introduction on what is OT and what is OT security. And then we'll move to the career prospect in OT security. And then Manjulat will be taking us through the options for getting into OT security from the people who are currently working in the OT domain as such, but they are not aware of the security part so far. And then also the other people who are currently into IT security and they want to get into the OT security now. So to start with, the difference or the crux of OT security is basically the OT technology, operation technologies basically means the control of physical processes. Most of you would know that this is the difference between the information technology versus the operational technology. Another key difference is the information technology things are basically the business enablement technologies, where the operation technologies are the business itself. So it will run the business, and if anything goes wrong, the business itself get hampered. Whereas the IT services, when they get hampered, maybe the core business would not get impacted. Only the enabling service will be getting impacted. Again, it is a mixture of hardware and software, and it is primarily being used for monitoring, controlling, and supervising physical processes. So take an example of, let's say, a bottling plant, and it is filling the liquid into it. So the technology here involved is, it will see there's a conveyor belt on which the bottles are rolling. So the sensor will sense, okay, now the conveyor belt is empty. Let me just bring a bottle to the conveyor belt. Then the next sensor will sense, okay, it has reached a particular destination. Now let me bring it to a bottling station. When it will see the bottling station empty, sensor will sense and the valve will open. It will fill the bottle to certain level. When the certain level is reached, the sensor will take some input and stop the liquid. So all these technologies are basically operation technology. It have a bunch of things inbuilt, like I've given you example of sensor as well as actuator. Sensor is basically sensing what is there. Actuator is taking action on that. You can actually take this analogy of sensor and actuator is to the human eyes as well as human limbs. So you see a threat coming and then you start running. That's what the actuator and sensor means. And your brain can be correlated to the programmable logic controller. Your HMI is the basically the human machine interface. How would you interface with the machines when you really want to give some commands? And the supervisory control and data acquisition is at the higher level, is to see how the plant is currently performing in terms of my requirement. Yeah, can you go to the next slide, Manju? Yeah, so there is a difference in terms of OT as well as IT. Again, the primary focus of IT technologies is to give you data processing, whereas the primary focus of OT is to give you physical control as well as operation. The second difference is the IT technologies are mostly standardized. We know the standards like common criteria, and they are generally centralized. There is the server that would be serving the people. If you take the example of cloud technologies or say the email servers, generally in the IT environment, they are centralized technology. Whereas in the OT side, the technologies are generally distributed. You will have somewhere a tank that is filling something, then there will be a mixer available, there will be pipes that will be taking it to some silos. The silo will be being used to maybe fillings or bottling or maybe some container level distribution of the liquid. So generally, you'll see a huge area that is being used for OT technology implementation. And that's why you don't directly have your eyes available to the technology, how each of my device is performing. You really need the insight, again, a technology that will enable to see how my plant or how my different systems are basically performing. Next slide, Manju. Okay, so when we see the cybersecurity goals and we compare the IT versus OT, generally in the IT side, you really want to secure your data first. Okay, nobody sees what business I am doing. Nobody sees what are the intellectual property that I'm holding. The second key area is you really want to protect the integrity of the data, that nobody else can actually change the data format which I originally being created into. And then third one is you really want to see that the data is available to you whenever you want. But on the OT side, when you see the difference or this protection goal or cybersecurity goals, you will always focus on the safety first. If you have seen a recent movie on Netflix, there is a robot that actually kills somebody in the factory, just holding the person from his neck, and it's at 360 degree and the person instantly dies. So those kind of accident can actually happen. So that is like an extreme case. But what if a robotic arm goes beyond its range in terms of doing a 360-degree circle? There could be somebody who could get harmed, and there's a technology that is controlling this. So rather than having confidentiality of the data that is driving this technology, the focus is on the safety side of it. And the second next to that is the availability, so that my production is not hampered. And then comes the integrity and confidentiality, which is similar to the CIA triad that we see. Basically, the sequence that changed from CIA to safety, AIC. Yeah. Next slide, Manju. Yeah. So if you see the security level difference in both the IT and OT side, there is some challenges in terms of protection. As you have seen, the confidentiality is first in IT side. Safety and availability is the prime concern for OT side. And these are because of the bunch of things. Generally, the life cycle of the asset in IT side, 3 to 5 years. But on the OT side, you have close to 10 to 25 years of life cycle. And it's really difficult to manage that longer of a life cycle for asset. So the malware that were discovered maybe 15 years ago or say 20 years ago, if the system is not patched in last 20 years in OT side, they are all still a threat to that OT system. But this may not be the case in the IT side, because you do a 3-year refresh. Currently, most of the time you will see Windows 10 or Windows 11 being used. But on the OT side, you see the systems like Windows 98, Windows XP, they are still used prevalently in huge number of plants. Also, the security technologies that you see, let's say the example of antivirus. The antivirus currently are so sophisticated, they require huge resources, huge memory. But the old OT system that were designed with, let's say, 2 GB of RAM or say 512 MB of RAM, they would not be able to handle such loads of running a malware engine. And they would also not be backward compatible with those older Windows systems. So these are the differences in terms of protecting the OT system versus the IT system. Also, there are not so many standard available in terms of, let's say, I really want to have an agent installed into Windows. So you do for one Windows, and then it may be generally like applicable to the whole organization. But on the OT side, you will have lots of proprietary protocols, proprietary system being used. So one solution of security would not always be working into different automation zones within the same plant itself. And generally we see within same plant, there would be 4, 5, 10, 20 vendors or OEMs would be supplying to different instruments and different OT technologies to run the process. Can you go to next slide, please? Yeah. So recently what is happening is there is integration that is happening because of advancement of technology. Earlier, the plant used to be into air gap network, but now they are converging in terms of technological requirement as well as operational requirements. So the people who are sitting at the headquarters, they really want to see what is happening in the plant. And because of this, those assets which were having the legacy built in, they are also getting connected to the system which are of designed for the today's requirement. So let's say there is a Windows 10 system on a network, and then we are converging a OT system which is running maybe Windows XP. There may be some segregation through firewall, but still firewall is not a security device. It is just, filters the network traffic. So because of this, the threats which were available on the legacy systems, they will be easily getting a path to reach to the OT systems. And because of this, lots of attacks that are happening recently. If you go to the search engines like Shodan, you'll really see large number of threats that are available into OT systems, and they are also published online into these search engines. So I'm quickly skimming through, keeping the time in mind for today's session. There is a lot to dig into how this integration happen, what kind of threats that could be possible, how will somebody will get pivot into IT system to an OT systems. But there are examples like HAVEX, like crash override. All of these malwares, they have initially started with the IT systems and then they pivoted into OT systems. Most of the time because of the inherent weakness of the system, and sometimes also using some malware to get some command and control center back to actually download the payload or some malicious application into the ICS system. Yeah, so we actually need the security from the bottom layer, which is your field level device, to the top layer. Currently, there are cloud is also used into OT systems or say industrial control system in large number of applications. It could be either your network security management, it could be either your anomaly detection, it could be either your MES application. So you basically need end-to-end security being built in throughout your network, which is the unified IT and OT systems. Next slide, please. Yeah. So we have seen that what is the difference into IT and OT. We have also seen the integration is happening. Now, what are the real threats that are available to OT systems? So malware is a old thing. Everybody knows it. Starting from malware, the recent attacks, last 3-4 years, the complete focus is going into the ransomware side, because OT systems are easy target. And when they put the ransom there, since the plant operation are halt, they have a good bargain to ask for the ransom. So we have malwares, we have ransomware, we have zero-day attacks, we have a spear phishing that is being generally used in the first level of any attack, where you will send a malicious file embedded into the system and then deliver it through email. Is it you that you are doing some pointer there, Manju? Okay, yeah. And then there is some network level attack like man in middle. And finally, if the attackers are not able to achieve anything in terms of the system, there are denial of service attacks are also available. So these are the major attacks that are generally being seen in the OT environments. Next slide, please. So now if you see the history of threats into OT environment, starting from the early 90s to the current period is the time when you see the real attack happening to the OT systems. Before that, most of the time, the electronics is generally used for maybe military use or for some smaller uses. But when digitalization came and the new technology came, that these technologies are being used for the production environment as well. And starting from the AT and AT hack in the 99 to the current time, where we have recently seen the attacks like Colonial Pipeline and also the pipe dream that has come last year. Pipe dream kind of sophisticated attack are really showing how sophisticated the hackers are now becoming, and they are really having the knowledge of the OT system now compared to 10 or 20 years back, when they were just using the old school methods of attacking the OT systems, using the same IT malware, getting into the OT systems now. So we can see that the number of attack increasing, the graph which is shown at the bottom, with the advancement of the technology. Since the technology advances, there is also possibility that the system get exposed to external networks, and that's where the attacker will really find the way to get inside it. Next slide, please. So the story here is when the attacks are also increasing, the sophistication of attack is also increasing. Earlier, the attack used to be maybe an espionage attack, where the attacker really want to steal some information or proprietary information. And then the new attack came, which would disrupt the business. Then there would another attack that will disrupt the operation or financial loss. And the recent attacks are actually going to the safety level. And if you go back and see some slide back, you have seen the safety is the prime concern for us. We really need to protect that. And generally in the environment, you see a dedicated system, which is being used for the safety purpose only. The Bhopal attack in India in 1980s has actually taught a big lesson that safety should not be ignored. And that's the reason that we have been focusing around safety for quite some time now. But the attack of Triton Trisis actually has shown that there is possibility that people will get into the safety system also, and they will do a man-in-the-middle attack, sending some commands to the engineering station and many commands to the safety system itself. So we really need to pick up on security to actually stop these attacks or say prepare ourselves. Since security is not a one-time thing, the people who are working on the OT security, the storyline here is with the sophistication grows, we also need to prepare on the same line. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. So this is the slide that shows the difference that the traditional IT attacks are different from the ICS attack. ICS attacks are generally have two different stages. The first stage is generally used for understanding the system, and second stage is actually used to attack on the physical process. If you see the attacks like Stuxnet to the recent like pipe dream, these attacks will have a history of maybe 2 years, 3 years, or sometimes 4 years also. The first stage will be executed maybe a few years ago, where they will learn about the system and they will do a persistent command and control cell. And sometimes it would be like multiple command and control cell they will achieve. And stage 2, they will deliver the payload or malicious application to the system through that command and control achieved in the stage 1, and finally go and damage to the physical process in the plant. So that's the difference. In IT side, it is like one phase approach, but here it is two-phase approach. And if we have the capability and knowledge, there are huge possibility that we'll be able to detect the attack maybe in the stage 1 itself. So the previous slide we have seen that there are attacks that are happening, but this slide basically tells that there is a pattern of the attack. And if we really have knowledge of the system and technology, there is a high probability chance that we will be able to detect those attacks with some active defense being built in. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so now coming back to the another side of the discussion, how should I get into the OT security? So there could be a career path, or maybe people can actually design 1 year or 2 year based on their learning potential or learning capability in terms of time available to them, in terms of resources available to them. But generally, it could be 5-step process. First, understanding about the computer technologies, like learning some programming language. Then second would be to learn some computer security and about the control system. The third step would be to understanding the control system security. Fourth step would be to consolidate the knowledge through certification, and also practice the knowledge that you have gained through these various steps. And finally is to network with the people and also get placed. So I have actually written a complete write-up on this process, and this is completely different from the experience that I'm having in the industry. Next slide, please. Now, coming back to the demand that is coming into OT security market. So there is a research that is published by Market and Markets that there is a CAGR growth of around 15.8% for OT security market itself. And the market for OT security is going to be 32.4 billion by 2027. So you can see the huge potential of the market itself. And since this skill itself is a niche skill, there are going to be requirement of the people who would be hired for OT security skills. And these skills can go to multiple areas of OT security lifecycle, starting from the product designing to product deployment, to product testing, to site deployment, site testing, continuous security, and also incident response. Also, if you see that the attacks are also growing, and there is close to 1,500 ransomware attack that has happened against critical infrastructures. So there is a huge demand coming in from both the industry side as well as the market side. And that is what is the driving factor for the OT security market. At the same time, there is a huge talent gap currently in the cybersecurity market as such. In a report published last year, there is close to 3.5 million people short into the overall cybersecurity market, and even shorter into OT security market, because the niche skills, like there are lots of sector and you really need to understand the system before actually securing it. The energy system might require its own security, whereas the manufacturing might require something else. There's some aviation sector might require something else. At the same time, the regulators are also pushing for security. In India, if you take the case, or say globally, if you take the case, the governments are actually designing OT security regulations. And when the regulations are there, industry will need to pick up in product designing itself as well as product implementation itself. So that's why the demand itself is increasing. And I have recently gone through the report that is published by Sense, this year annual review of IT, OT, cybersecurity, and they have surveyed lots of people across these geographies. And as high as 47% people say that they are short of OT security staff. And even 36.7% even said that they don't even have people to implement the previous security requirements they have planned. So there is a huge demand that is going to happen in the coming years. We are targeting to grow, and the whole world is targeting to grow in the infrastructure development. And when infrastructure development happen, there is lots of factories will be set up, lots of infrastructure will be built up, and all these things require operational technologies. And when operation technology would be there, then the requirement of security will also be there. Also, there is a very good incentive for getting into OT security because it's a niche skill. Generally, the compensations for security professional in OT is on the higher side. And also, what you will see is a OT person working in the organization and an OT security person working in the same organization, their reputation would be completely different. They would be seen the elite people in the organization, whereas the OT people who are generally working as engineers, they would be seen the generally the engineers. And Manjunath can vouch for this. And I have also seen the difference in the people in terms of the security people working as well versus the engineers working in the OT side. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is the slide that shows that what are the career options available across 3 different areas. It could be either research, product development, versus manufacturing, versus consulting. So in the research side or product development side, you start as a researcher, then you become expert architect, then you will become a product architect or say principal architect, and then you will become maybe head of a particular group or head of a particular product development group. And finally, you can actually reach up to the head of technology level. Similarly, in organizations, you can go into analyst to engineers to architect to head of security and finally to CISO. And if you're in the consulting side, there are a bunch of roles that are available. I have just picked a few of them. This list is not exhaustive, but there is a huge possibility in terms of the roles available. There are a bunch of certifications are also available to get into security, and the certifications will actually increase your chance of getting into organization or getting hired. Yeah, so this is the part that I supposed to take for today. Now I will like to hand over to Manju, and I will be looking into the questions now. If you have any questions, let me know, and we'll be answering your questions as well.
Yeah, thanks, Shiv. Probably, since we were using the personal account, so it was saying only few minutes are available, but now it is, I think I've immediately recharged it. So now we have ample time. So also I'll make you as a host in case if you can share, otherwise I need to admit everyone, whoever is joining. I'll make you as co-host. Maybe you can.
Okay. No, I think we had limit of 100. I did not see more than 100 people joining.
Yeah, because we had a problem there. But still, you're able to see my screen or no?
Not yet.
Okay.
It was there. No, it's not there.
Okay, so I made you as host. Probably you can share your screen or yeah. Otherwise, I'll start. Wait.
No, I'm still not able to share. It says our disabled participants can share.
Yeah, sure, no problem. I'll share the screen. Please confirm once it is available.
Yes, it is available.
So just a minute. So I need to make. Sorry for the delay. I think the participants are more in number. Yeah. So let me start. Thank you, Shiv, for that insightful session on that, career opportunities and the potential growth ahead in the OT security field. And I know definitely, the expertise and the experience have certainly shed some light on the why now it is the perfect time for any professional to consider OT, security as a good career to, grow. So, without further delay, let's dive into, my session, that is how you can transit from any OT to OT security and IT to OT security. So I would like to touch upon in parallel. So if you look at the, the steps involved in how you can you can shift your career from OT guys to OT security. So both are almost similar, right? Even OT guys have to identify their transferable skills. I mean, the existing skills what they have. If someone is from the OT background and want to shift his career into OT security, then they can leverage their existing knowledge. I will be talking about what the existing knowledge they need to touch upon, and also some skill set in the industrial automation system, so that they can transit smoothly. So if you look at these steps, the 4 steps, what I have mentioned, even though it is not in detail, but still, both are having the same steps. Identify the transferable skills. And here, as a OT guy, you need to understand the cyber language, the cyber security. And whereas the IT security guy has to learn about the OT specific knowledge, and both should have the hands-on experience. In today's arena, we have a lot of online tools available, and also the courses being made to get the hands-on experience. And also, as Shiv mentioned about the pursue relevant certification like GICSP or ISA 62443, right? So moving forward, now let us talk about how an industrial automation engineer can transit his career into OT security. First, you identify your relevant competencies. Like, as an if you are coming from automation background, you might have already have experience with system architecture, network architectures, and you might know that communication protocols like Modbus, DNP3, Profibus. Definitely, these things will really help when you are shifting your career to OT security, right? So I would like to show that this system architecture, just to give you a brief note, like how you can approach, how you can leverage your existing skills. Definitely, if you are from OEM side or consulting side or EPC side or end user, probably you might, this is one major document where definitely everyone will be might have gone through, right? And as part of if you are in automation engineer, then you should be aware of all these things. And in OT security world, we talk about asset inventory, whereas in normal automation engineer know that what is bill of material, right? So the bill of material, even though it is not completely having all the lists, like basically it should have, but you can compare asset inventory as a bill of material. So you have to identify the assets first, like, okay, what are the field IO devices you have, and what are the controllers that you are supplying, and also what are the domain controllers. Maybe you might have an engineering workstation, operator stations, and then you might give the patch management and some application servers. Also, then you should understand switches and firewalls, all this. So the reason why I told you about this particular system architecture, from this definitely you can get to know more knowledge about OT security. How? See, as a industrial automation engineer, you are working with whether you are application developer or application engineer who is developing the logic diagrams and functional block diagrams on the HMI you are sitting. But when you conduct the FAT, factory acceptance test, right? So definitely all these setup will be made, and then all these network cables will be connected from controllers to switches, and from the HMI station or engineering workstations to this. So you should think like, why would we use the switches, routers, and firewalls, and why do we need that? If you start thinking in that direction, definitely it will help you in understanding the cybersecurity aspects of OT environment, right? So what happens if and also one important thing is, when you are configuring something in the controller, so you will run with the IT security tools, right? So why do you do that? So IT security tools will make the system harden. Why do we need that? So you start asking these questions to yourself, right? And also many times I think as an automation engineer, you are aware of configuring the user user configurations. Like for operators, you have to configure operator access, and engineering should have only engineering access, which has more and admin will have the admin controls. But why do you do that in the first place? So you ask these questions and how to do it. And also you can collaborate with the your cybersecurity team who conducts the installation of all these patches, antivirus installations, and then application whitelisting, and how to configure the domains by using Active Directory, all these things. So basically, the best approach, what you have to leverage those existing skill set, right? As an industrial automation engineer, you might have worked on developing HMI and in the operator station with with operator access, but you don't have much control over it. So you have to understand basically why we need these firewalls. What happens if I don't use firewall here? So these kind of questions you have to start asking by yourself. And also definitely you understand the communication protocol between your controllers and HMIs, and you most of the time there will be a third party systems will be communicating to the main DCS systems or PLC system, SCADA systems. So you have to understand that the understanding the communication protocol also very important when you are moving to OT security, right? Because unless you understand how the system works, what you are securing. So if you have the basic understanding of how Modbus work, then tomorrow, let us say someone is trying to attack on a Modbus register which are not used. Then if you are from automation background, you have the better advantage of over others who does not work on the OT system, right? Because you understand thoroughly how Modbus works. And recently, I think from past 2 to 3 years, I have seen the end users are requesting a separate firewall for Modbus. Why do they need it? Because the attacks were happening by using the unused register of the Modbus, right? So that is why there are some industrial firewalls available nowadays to block, even you can block those registers which are not used. Thereby you can mitigate the risk. So now coming back to the user access control we talked about, and also sometimes the patch management is one of the key aspects where during the FAT you will have some antivirus software, and also while dispatching to the site or plant, then you think that you have to upgrade the systems, or maybe your software has some bugs, you have to fix those bugs. So you have to understand all that. Why do we need why do we need to do that? So if you understand and correlate with this, with the security aspects of it, then definitely you have a better chance of moving your career into OT security. So this is related to user access control we touched upon, and also the documentation part. Most of the time, in OT security, the documentation plays a vital role. Even not only in any domain. Specifically, when we talk about the documentation part with respect to OT security, we need to create so many security policies, procedures, checklists, which is similar to your day-to-day activities as an industrial automation engineer or OT environment. You will be having the functional design specifications or detailed design specifications. Many such documents are available, and you will be including all the cybersecurity point also in that. Maybe that is not your part, but if you go back now and tomorrow you go and read out all the manuals in your OEMs manuals or whatever product manuals, there will be a security portion of it. And if you start going through all those sections, then you will have a better understanding, right? Yeah, so this is how you can leverage by asking question, why do we need that? And already you are part of OT security, I would say. Okay, because that is how I started way back in 2013, 14. I was an industrial automation engineer. I was very curious to understand how this works, and I asked questions, and I collaborated with my seniors, and I asked questions. And what happens if I don't use switches here and firewalls here? Why do we need that? And many seniors and many people have helped me in making me understand of this OT security. So thanks to all of those mentors, and hence I am also eagerly helping others whatever knowledge I got from my seniors. And apart from this, okay, let me go back. Yeah. So we touched upon identify the relevant competencies. We talked about system architecture and communication protocols. Now build a strong foundation cybersecurity. Whether basically, so you have to understand the cyber language. If you want to work in OT cybersecurity or be it any cybersecurity, you have to understand the cyber language. For example, what are risks, what is threat, what is vulnerabilities? These are the kind of terminologies that we use often in the security world, right? So this how you can learn is you can done through self studies or online courses or any education programs that you can attend. And also you can focus more on the network security architecture, like the one which I have shown is the the security model which I have taken from ISA manuals. And also you can talk about understand this encryption methods or cryptography and the risk management framework. And a lot of online sources are available, and many experts are sharing their knowledge through LinkedIn. You can connect with them. Yeah. Then coming back to the third point is gain hands-on experience. Like how you so many times people ask me that I don't have practical experience, whether the the whenever I apply for a job, whether they will consider or not. So it depends on how much you understand. So really it depends on that. So luckily we have ample resources available nowadays, right? You can use TryHackMe recently. I would like to share this screen. I will share this link also with you. So this is the attacking ICS plant one. So where you can go through this, you can leverage this to learn the practical aspects of uh, to gain the hands-on experience of industrial control systems. Also, one more thing is, yeah, just a minute. Yeah, one more thing is the Control Things IO. This has a beautiful tools available with them, and you can try this as well to have to gain the practical experience if you want. Yeah. So now coming back to the fourth point is the pursue relevant certifications like GICSP or 62443 certification. Yeah, if you sometimes people tell me it's a very costly yeah, I agree with you. There is no other industry certifications available right now. Others are available like CSSA, Certified SCADA Security Architect. However, I did not find much of information on the web. And also I heard from people that there are not much of a help from IACRB. So that's why I always prefer that either you can do GICSP or 62443, and even 62443 has 4 certification. You can do 1 or 2 just to have a better understanding. And one key important thing is if whether be it OT or IT, it's important that how much time and effort you put by learning all these aspects. So when you come to security field, always remember that it's a continuous journey. Until the until you retired, you will be learning. Even after retirement, you will be eagerly waiting for to learn more and more if you are a cybersecurity engineer. So that is what you have to leverage your existing skills and build a strong foundation, and then you can get a hands-on experiences and do the certification, and then you can apply. And also you can attend lot many attend workshops, conferences, and also you can join online communities and forums. And also you can develop your own personal project by installing VMs, and there are you can build your own hacking machine as well. There are tools available. Only thing is you have to put time and effort. Yeah, and also you can network with your professionals in the same field. So yeah. Now moving back to IT security guys, I think they have the knowledge of network security or programming or system administration, and also they understand the network protocols, right? Like TCP/IP or OSI model, they do understand. And also one important key is there are opportunities available in the OT security domain. You should understand the secure development lifecycle (SDLC). So you should, if you have that background, and it will be much more easier for you to find that relevant job profile for the IT guys. And or if you are working as a network security guy, and you can leverage that. and you can be part of SOC, Security Operations Center, or wherein they will be monitoring continuously, right? And the only challenge where you will face is from the OT guys, like industrial automation guys, are the background of OT. So how you can come over with that, when you can challenge that? So you have to acquire OT specific knowledge. How you can learn? There are free available, trainings are available, and also hands-on. Nowadays, there are many Udemy courses like TryHackMe, Control Things IO, everything. You can leverage all this. And also, you can, learn about ISA 62443. NIST 882 is a very beautiful guideline. If you are from IT background, you can learn everything about OT environments from there. And these are some of the important standards that are available for OT security, right? ISA 62443, NIST, and NERC. And then, as I said, it is similar, like, to have the hands-on experience. You might have worked on network security already, but still, you can learn about Modbus, how it works. You can, get to know more relevant on that. So ultimately, yeah, we have come to the end of the session. And in conclusion, whether you are from OT or IT background, the key to success, lies in how much effort, how much you can identify your relevant experience, and building a strong foundation about cybersecurity or OT specific domain, and the hands-on experience, and also get the certification and start applying. So it really depends on how much time and effort you put. Yeah. So ultimately, if you have any questions, now the forum is open. And yeah, we would like to thank, and sorry for the technical glitch. I think I think only a few people have joined. Unfortunately, only 100 people have had the access. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, thank you, Manjunath. Thanks for that deep discussion. I think each of those topics can actually be explored into a individual session itself. And I understand lots of youngsters are also there in this call who are really want to get into this field. For them, understanding these key terms might be difficult, but we are always open to discussion and mentoring on these subjects. So I will now go through some of the questions. I am seeing some good interaction happening in the chat itself. People are already answering the question as well as when they are asking it. But few questions we'll take up. And there are some questions that has been asked for ICS skill chain. And I see a number of people are asking what is the difference in stage 1 and stage 2 of the ICS skill chain. So on the high level, the difference between stage 1 and stage 2 is stage 1 is primarily designed for actually having a reverse shell available to the site and also understanding about the environment. So if you take example of Stuxnet that happened in 2010, the earliest traces of stage 1 were found as early as 2006 itself. And for 3 years, 4 years, the malware were actually reading how the environment is, what kind of applications are there, what kind of components are there, or products are there. And then they will do understand what would be the possible methods to deliver the malware. So they have understood the system, then they design the malware, and then we'll get to learn that, okay, there is no possibility to directly send the malware to the site. They use some social engineering technique by actually giving those pen drives to the people around the plant or throwing those pen drives. Lots of stories are there. So the difference is in the crux. First level, stage 1 is basically to understand, and stage 2 is to do physical impact of the plant. There is obviously impact associated with stage 1 itself. There would be some espionage activity that would be there. Sometimes there are some operational issues that could also happen in stage 1. But stage 2 is only considered when we really go and impact the physical processes. That's the high level difference between those. And so far, if you see, starting from Stuxnet to Pipe Dream, there are only 7 attacks which are targeted as well as impacting the physical processes. And if you see another number of ICS attack that impacted the plant process, they might be targeted, they might not be targeted. Recently, a paper has been released. So close to 43 attack starting from the late 90s till 2022 or 23. There are 43 attacks that has happened. And I have also shown the states about the ransomware attack. It could be ransomware does not actually require technology specific to OT. They can actually get into the IT technology itself. And the number of attack into the ransomware side are actually close to 1,500 starting from 2010 to now. Yeah. So there is another question by somebody named Manish that is asking that if there is an option to get into OT security for the people who are not from the engineering background, but from the basic science background. So Manjuna, do you want to take this question?
Yeah. So even if you have non, what is the question? So sorry.
Yeah, so
It's
people getting into OT security from
okay.
non-engineering background,
If
they
they have, yeah, if they have BCA or MCA, I would say definitely they have the chance. Or if they did some BSc in cybersecurity or something which related to that, if they do some certification like CH, and if they do have the proper background on the cybersecurity, if they put some extra effort by learning additional certifications or some online courses, it is just that they have to showcase their skills. Even if they have the BSc background or BCA or MCA, still people are recruiting in OT security. Maybe as a beginner, yeah, they will not understand the OT altogether, but still there are ample opportunities available for non OT background also. For
yes.
example, yeah, yes.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add into that the cybersecurity as a field is non-dependent on your engineering background or non-engineering background. If you see the best of the hackers, they might come from some normal science background as well. There is really not a requirement in terms of engineering understanding. If you are really passionate about the technology, you will get into it, you eventually will reach there. You might require a little bit of more effort, little bit of more practice, but the options are always available. And the market also honors the people who are putting these efforts and getting recognized. I know lots of people, they did not have the core engineering background, but they are good hackers, well known in the industry now.
Yeah, I think many questions are for the certification. It's good to see that the people are replying to those questions. So thanks to audience who have replied to these questions. I think yeah, thanks.
I would like to give shout out to Pete Addition. He's
Yeah,
thinking that I am at 60 and still learning. And I
yeah,
see he's answering a lot of questions. So cheers to Pete for
yeah.
joining this call and answering to the people.
Thank you so much. And also one question I would like to answer, that does 62440 certification including programming skills in the curriculum as well? Yeah, they demonstrate, but you should not have programming skill altogether. They will demonstrate on a live, or if you are attending in person. As of now, I think in India we don't have in-person training, but however in the virtual you will be given the VMs and you can access it. But however, yeah, as someone said, GICSP has more of a practical approach than the theory, but 62443 covers the fundamentals of standard as well as the cybersecurity aspects of it, with particularly, it is more focusing on the OT aspects. So I would say,
Excellent.
yeah.
Yeah, so there are a bunch of more questions.
Yeah.
And I see some of them are asking, is there an official course requirement for GICSP? I think that's not the requirement. GICSP being conducted in two different modes. If you officially go through the course, then it's okay. But if you're not officially going, then you can take the challenge exam. You can prepare your own notes. And since this exam is open book, you can actually carry them along with you while you're getting into the exam. Yeah, so there is one more question, that is what day-to-day operations, and what tools does OT expert use for day-to-day operations? So I'll just answer it, then you'll take this up, Manju, with your experience. So depending on the role that you're playing in the organization, the tool and the toolkit would basically differ. If you are doing, let's say, assessment, so the assessment could be either active or passive. In OT side, generally the IT security tools are also used. like the Nessus tool or WebSuite tool for penetration testing of, or let's say, a security assessment of, let's say, web servers. But OT specific tools may also be required. The passive assessment tools like Clarity and Nozomi are available, but this product security testing tools are also available. There is one from what is this name? Acunetics, I guess, or Codenomicon, not Acunetics. And then the OEMs will also have their own tool. Like my organization have its own tool for testing the security of the products. Similarly, maybe GE, Schneider, they might have their own tool chain.
Yeah.
Would you like to take that, Manju?
Yeah, there are so many tools available even for to test OT systems. Not on the security point of view, but if you want to learn about ModSIM, Modbus, then we have a tool called ModSIM and ModScan, wherein you can learn about how Modbus works. And then also sometimes we use Wireshark and Nmap, all these tools, which are borrowed from IT. So previously, we never used to talk about. I think it was way back before 2000. The IT security was not so important for the legacy systems, but after so many incidents happened, especially after Stuxnet, I think we borrowed so many IT protocols into OT systems. Now, since we are moving to Industry 4.0, still, we have to have that coexistence of the legacy system as well as moving to the new, digital transformation. So these both will exist for some time, at least for 5 to 6 years down the line, probably 10 years, who knows. So we have to support both of them all over the world. That is my take on it. And one more question, which was very much, I want to switch to OT security currently. I have EPC consultancy experience. What certification I have to do and which company will hire me? See, more than certification, it depends on what skills you get. So certification is the second part, but you have to have that, as I explained. So if you are in EPC, definitely you might have a very good background of how OT system works, and you might have visited so many plants already, and you have commissioned, and you have touched upon all the OT components in your, as a day-to-day job. That itself will give you a more confidence. While just you need to think on a security aspects, like I have explained about system architecture, and then you will be definitely a part of how to patch the systems on a live plant also. Sometimes it happened with me sometimes back, and I used to interact with many EPC consultancies. So yeah, definitely there are good opportunity. Those who are in OT compared to IT background, so I would say the OT guys will have more opportunities, means quickly. So it's not that it's only the time and effort. As again and again I am telling that how much time and how much efforts you put into this understanding the concepts, and it will take you soon. You will make the transition.
I think we are end of the hour. Now we can close. There are a bunch of more questions. We'll try to answer these questions.
I think only one question you can answer. Do we really need to know scripting or coding to work in OT security? I think.
So I have already answered this through the chat reply, but I'll just go and answer it again. So the reason that I had put scripting is the basic understanding is required. Sometimes when you go to the plant, you have lots of data to analyze. And there are lots of applications that I really see that would be smoothened if you know any scripting language. Not specifically if you are into product testing side, even if you're doing site assessment, even if you are maybe designing your own small application for risk assessment as well. Scripting is really helpful. So knowing this will actually give you an advantage in your career. But if you are having basic understanding, recently ChatGPT is there, you can actually utilize that and then quickly make some program and use it for your advantage. So it depends on you how much you really want to get into that. I would say the basic understanding would be sufficient for depending on the career path you want to choose.
Yeah. So I think almost we have come to the end of the session, and thank you for joining today's session. Sorry for the technical glitch, but fortunately we were able to bring in at least 100 people from LinkedIn Live to Zoom call. So and then I hope all of you have found this session valuable, and if you have any question, please feel free to Shiva or myself, and we would be more than happy to help you in your journey towards OT security. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, and if any question is unanswered, probably we'll take back those into our next session, or maybe we'll write an article about it so that your question be answered. Shiv, any last thoughts? Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so again,
Manju and Shiv, I'm having a thought. Can we continuously, with your experience, can you share some sessions like weekly once or whenever it is possible for you? There is no force in this. Maybe some topics you can take it and you give your insightful view to all of us. That will be advantage.
yeah, glad to hear that, Vishnu. I really like that you are liking the session. That's our thought process behind starting these sessions. And if you see, the session was named Huddle 01, and our plan is to currently actually do this once a month. And we really need to ramp up on the infrastructure. Today, we were not aware that they will require some tool integration and all, and we have failed there. So we could have actually accommodated more people, but yeah, we are really looking forward to do some specific sessions. Since this was the first one, we had actually gone through the overview of OT and then given some career perspective. But me and Manju are actually discussing some specific topic to be kept into next session. But if you are also willing, all of you, we are still open for maybe a couple of minutes. You can actually put up the specific session that you really want us to take up next.
I want to say something. Here, lot of people are new to OT domain. Some only X number of people. It's a kind of mixed and matched session. So maybe you can. We want to. It's a grooming industry. So, in spite of we are asking, we can make some. We can make some insightful thought kind of thing like networking. Let us take networking chapters. Like today, Manju explained about the architecture of the product, like gateways and switches and everything. How? Let us take a plant example, and with respect to the network, what kind of glitches can happen? How to eradicate them? Like that, one or two plant examples, if you give, it will be very advantage for a real-time hands-on.
Yeah, so that's the plan. And I think Manju is already hosting some events in coming weeks, starting from maybe on 15th or so. When is that event, Manju?
April. Yeah. April 15th, we have a free webinar session from InfoSec Train about this key aspects of OT security. This webinar is for 2 hours. And also, I will be touching upon the career opportunities as well. And some part may be repeatable, but still, I will touch upon the some more aspects of it. Yeah. And by considering the amount of work what we are doing, say our intention is to share our knowledge. I know we have to make the education is free, but the kind of what we have seen from so long is we are sharing too many articles, and how much people are being reading all these articles. Maybe hardly some 5%, but still people come to us and ask. The reason is these articles being written by concisely and to the point. So only one suggestion from my side, or maybe Shiv side also, that whatever efforts we are being put up in the on the LinkedIn, just to make and create an awareness on the OT security. Just make sure that you are going through all these articles which are free of cost. So yeah, I agree that even I also had a plan to start my YouTube channel to share my knowledge, whatever I have learned. Still, I am also learning continuously. We will bring in more sessions in the coming months. Yeah, even Shiva also has some plan. Probably, yeah. From this session, we have kick-started as a OT Security Huddle 01, and this will probably continue. And also, we do have that OT Cybersecurity group created by Puneet, and John is maintaining all that. So probably we will create some webinar session particular to this OT security. Yes, Shiv. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. So thanks everyone. It's very wonderful.
Thank you very much. A big bow to both of you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. This was a very information.
Thanks, Prashant.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Manju and Shiv. It was very good, I think. Yeah.
Thanks, Pawan.
And all.
Thank you, Manju bhai.
Thank you. Thanks, Rahul.
How are you?
Yeah, fine. Thanks. So, it was hard to maintain, to admit everyone and moving the slides. It was difficult in the beginning.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have only one. Okay, for me the timing was in between the office hours.
Okay.
If we can have something like that over the weekend, or maybe I know the Nugget people from subcontinent will have problems, but fortunately it was a silent day at site, so I could attend it today.
Yeah. Anyways, we do have, recorded this session probably.
Yeah,
Yes.
No, I
Sure.
was there from starting. Like I quickly finished something which I had to, so I joined it. I have been reading. I will anyway touch with you. I am following all of you anyways
Yeah.
on my
Thank you.
Thanks, Shiv. Yeah, I will take you offline.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Thanks everyone. Yeah, maybe probably I'll end the session. Thanks everyone. Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
we are getting a proper, too much thank you and best wishes to us. So Shiv, I think hopefully it went well. Thanks for your time. Bye. Yeah,
Thank you.
Great job done.